I know I've been missing in action and I've gone AWOL, but I said today I was record an episode. I need to record. I have an episode that I wanted to come out, but what I said in that episode, I am like, do I need this to be out there in the world for somebody to listen to? It's nothing crazy. I've said a lot of crazy things on this podcast, but this particular one was really dear to me, very, very personal. And I know that one day I'm going to release it, but not yet until I just figure out what the hell it is that is happening. So today, I've been thinking about it. I want to talk about identity and layoffs. I've spoken about identity before. I just want to bring it back up and just try and give different perspectives and different angles to it right now. Oh boy, a lot of things have been happening in my life. Okay, I used to say something, your identity helps you to function in the world, which is very true. What made me to start thinking of this is work. Anybody that knows me, anybody that, especially from uni, yes, most especially my uni friends, anybody that met me in university would know that I had this great idea, this big dream of being a media personality, of working on radio, of working on TV, owning a podcast, of just talking, sharing my opinions out there and entertaining people. Anybody that knew me in school knew that. And I left school, I got into radio. I'm still doing radio. From the year 2022 to now, I've roughly done radio for 2 years, right? And this year, 2024, a lot has happened as pertaining to my work. It's not about the work itself. It's about the person carrying out the work. A lot of things have happened to me in relationship to my work life. If I'm going to describe my life to someone, I would say that my life is 90% work and 10% any other thing that could be factored in. That was, should I say, April, May, June last year. That was what my life was. 90% work and 10% anything that could factor in. Be it God, be it my family, be it my friends, be it my social life. My social life is dead and gone. I'm trying to do CPR to it, but the CPR ain't working. With this work, but I felt things that I didn't know I could feel. Being on radio exposed me to myself. You know how you enter into a relationship with someone and that relationship reveals you to yourself? That's what this work has done to me. This work revealed me to myself. It showed me how I tied my identity to the idea of being on radio. It showed me how that identity was trampled on because people didn't validate me, people criticized me. It showed me how anxious I could be. I've had series of anxiety attacks on air, and that's because I felt like anything that goes wrong with what I do, I am the one that would bear the brunt of what happens. Now it's radio is Chiwendo. Do you understand? Radio is Chiwendo. Normally, in a normal world, when you are being criticized, you take it and move on. You're not meant to wait around for somebody to tell you, oh, you're doing great at your job. You know that you're great at your job. Of course, we need people to give us to show that what we're doing impacts them. But what if you're surrounded with people that don't feel the need to do that for you? What happens to you? This was happening in my work life. I was always busy. I was doing a lot of things, going on air, producing shows, scripting, editing, producing jingles, doing my voiceovers, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's been long I posted any of my voiceover work. Doing all those things. But nobody was actively saying something I wanted to hear. Why did I need somebody to say something? I needed somebody to say something because it was feeding into who I was. It was feeding into my identity. Now, the reason why I got into radio, I don't know what I've told the story before, but the reason why I got into radio was because I felt shadow banned in my own life. I felt like nobody was looking at me. Nobody was seeing me. Nobody was hearing what I was saying. Nobody cared what my opinion about things were. And I was like, there is a blind medium, which is radio. There is a medium where I could speak, and thousands, millions of people have no other choice but to listen to me, because they will surely turn into their radio or tune into their TV and they hear my voice. They don't have a choice. But in real life, it's like, if somebody wants to listen to you, you have to actively beg them. But on radio, I don't need to do that. I just open the mic and speak, and anybody that tuned in at that moment would surely hear me. So I was like, let me get into radio. Now, I got into radio because I had the passion for it, but because I felt like it would form me. It would give me a sense of person, like it would make people see me. It would give me an identity. And whenever somebody spoke rubbish about what I did on radio, no matter what it was, a little part of me died, because you are attacking my personality. You are attacking who I am. Radio is who I am. Radio is my identity. Radio is what I breathe. Radio is what I see. Radio is what I speak as. Radio is me. I am radio. So whenever you don't validate me, or you don't say things that I want to hear as it pertains to this work that I do, you kill a part of me. And that resulted to me getting depressed, me feeling purposeless, like me feeling like maybe this radio thing was not for me. Maybe God just put this dream into my heart as a joke, Maybe it was boredom that led me to radio, which is true. Boredom led me to radio. It made me trivialize the impact I could make on radio, because it felt like nobody was seeing it. Or maybe they were seeing it, but they were not saying anything. So when they did not see it in the way I wanted them to see it, by like praising it, talking about it, telling their friends about this presenter they listen to, or this radio station they listen to, or meeting someone and they'd be like, oh, I've listened to you before and I love your voice and I love what you say and blah, 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 blah. My fire died. My fire started dimming because I felt like nobody was seeing what I was doing. And if you could relate to whatever I'm saying right now, it is perfectly normal for this to happen. It is perfectly okay. See, I struggled with myself for a very, very long time. Even today while I was praying, yesterday while I was praying, I stood in the front of the mirror and I shouted. Jesus, you need to see me there yesterday. I rebuked every form of rubbish going through my head, telling me that I was only as good enough, telling me that I was only good as what people said about me, telling me that the only way I mattered was when people talked about me, telling me that how my show went or how my program went is who I am. That if my program was great, everybody's talking about it, that means I am great for that day. If it was rubbish, if it was like subpar, if it was below standard, like maybe something happened, I didn't script well, I didn't factor in a lot of things, or I mispronounced someone's name, that is the end of that deal. My day is spoiled, my day is gone. Like that means because of the way that program went, that means me Chiwendo Onechukwu Kereke is subpar, is mid, and is bad at what she does. I stood in front of that mirror and I said, God, I am done thinking that my personality, I am done thinking that my identity or who I am in this world is a factor of how my shows go, is a factor of how my voiceovers go, is a factor of what people say about me, is a factor of the number of people that listen to my podcast, is a factor of the number of people that watch my content on YouTube, on Instagram, or on Facebook. I refuse that spirit that says that is who I am, or I refuse that brain or that mind or that thought that thinks that is who I am, because it is dimming my light, it is destroying my life. I refuse to walk through the world timid. I refuse to walk through the world like the number of people that liked my podcast or that liked my content. So if only 15 people liked my content, I go through the world like, that means nobody likes me. Nobody likes what I do. I refuse. Guy, I stood in front of the mirror. I said, God forbid. Like, every negative thoughts are so, Jesus Christ, they are so overpowering. Thoughts are overpowering, but more so negative thoughts, because we have given it that power. I was so angry yesterday because I finished praying and everything, and all of a sudden there was this rising panic in my body, in my stomach, because I had things to do that day. There was this rising panic in my stomach that, oh my gosh, you're about to go to that place and mess up. You're about to go and do that. You're about to go and do that show and mess up. But guess what? If we mess up, that means we're a mess up. Like, you are rubbish. You like when if he pass it, like, there is nothing good about you. And when that thing was going through my mind, something told me, Chinwendu, like, what is this rubbish you are entertaining? Positive thoughts can also be overpowering too. All my life, I have allowed thoughts like that dictate my life. I have allowed those kind of things tell me things that just made me lose my mind, made me feel like I was a victim to the world, made me feel like the world hates me or the world hated me. If they hated you, So it warped my sense of vision of how I saw the world. And yesterday I just said, I refuse to be controlled by this thing. And I've always known that my identity was tied to what I do. All of us want people to see us, want people to validate us, want people to talk about what we do, because what we do fucking matters. What we do should be at the forefront of everybody's mind. But guess what is at the forefront of every other person's mind? What they do. And since everybody is very much concerned about what they do, are you going to be a puppy waiting around for your master to pet you or to rub your head before you rise up to do what you're meant to do? I said, I don't want to be a puppy anymore. I don't want to wait around for my master anymore. Because guess what? My master had already given me the power. My master had already energized me. So what am I waiting on the world for? My listeners don't even know me. The people that are watching me on Instagram don't even know me. But still, I still feel like my sense of self will be shaped by what they say or what they do. See, it is so tough. And I'm even about to get emotional, or I'm already emotional talking about this thing, because this thing made me cry a lot. Like, I've never cried as I've cried since this year, and it was not a boy matter. There are boys matters there, here and there, but more so the work. I was just like, this is a sad way to live your life, Chinwendu. It is an ugly way to live life. The first episode I released, or the episode I was meant to release before this one, I was talking about my panic attacks, and the reason why I don't want to release it yet is because I'm still trying to understand whatever I'm going through. I'm still trying to make sense of what it is. I don't want to share it with the world yet, because it's very sensitive to me. It's very, very, very sensitive to me. Yes, I've spoken about it on air before, because I share things like that on air. Like, the way I talk on my podcast, just know that I mostly talk about, I talk like that on air, but there is a reduced intensity, but I still talk like that on air. So I've given bits here and there that I've undergone anxiety and panic attack, but I don't think I've told them that it was on air. But most of them would have noticed that I couldn't breathe on air. It even got to the extent where when I started working at this my radio station bar, there was this particular man that would always call, greet me with so much joy in his voice, like he liked me as a person, as a presenter, and then months down the line he would call and he wouldn't even regard me. He would just talk to my other host, and I died. in my head, I was like, did I do something wrong? Did I say something before that he didn't like? What did I do that this guy that would always regard me, that would always, speak to me whenever he called, or called my name whenever he called in into a show I was in? All of a sudden, he did 360 and he no longer does that. My heart just broke. I just felt like, Chiwendu, you have messed up. Chiwendu, you did something. And I wanted to right whatever wrong it is. Do you see how this thing just messes with your head? Do you see how this thing just makes you feel like you're not doing what you're meant to do? Do you see how that thing makes you restive? Like it makes you restless. It makes you feel disturbed. It makes you not do the things that actually matters. What if you didn't say anything to this guy? What if by his own accord, he just decided that Chiwendu is a great presenter, but I don't want to be speaking to her anymore. Let me talk to this other guy. What if that's what if he didn't say anything? Or what are we even saying? Or even if I said something that made him not want to regard me anymore, does it mean that my confidence would go down? Does it mean that how I see myself goes down? Does it mean that how God sees me does not matter anymore because a certain guy who used to call on a show stopped regarding me? Or maybe something happened to them and they felt like that joy doesn't need to be there. I don't know, maybe something happened. This is not me trying to even give an excuse for the guy. But even if, what I'm just saying is, even if I did something that now made them to say that they don't want to regard me anymore, should I base who I am based on the character they displayed? I say, God forbid that thing. That means I cannot exist in this world because everybody. Okay, Chimamanda said it. Don't try to be likable. Trying to be likable, trying to make everybody like you is recipe for disaster. And I can tell you, I won't say it has destroyed my life, but it has dealt with me. Because I wanted every fucking body that listened to my podcast to like me, that listened to me on air to like me, to sing my praises, to be like, oh yeah, I'm their best presenter, blah, 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 blah. Like, I just wanted people to like me. And guess what? It's not gonna happen, babes. Because, Chiwendu, you have erratic views on the world. You are fun. You are everything. You could be annoying. And guess what? It could annoy a lot of people. I know I've annoyed thousands of people that listen to me. Should I base my sense of self on that? I said, God, I can't live like this. I want to be Chiwendu. And anybody that likes who Chiwendu is, you're welcome. If you don't like it, you're welcome too. So I see conversations from Chimamanda. I look at Mayowa Kilango, my host on radio. I see, I have great conversations with this guy. I've spoken to him about it, but not in depth as I'm speaking now, right? I see the way he tackles people. And if you do rubbish, he doesn't hesitate to tell you that, oh God, that thing you're saying is rubbish, and just that thing you're saying is rubbish, and I'll hang up on you. I'm like, why? That is rude. He says, okay, it is rude, but you don't come on air to do those kind of things. And I know that the person he did that to dislikes him at that point, dislikes him now. But does he care? No, he's doing his job. And guess what? There are people out there that love the guts, that love how confident it is. And that thing was so attractive to me. I wanted that. I wanted to have guts. I wanted to have confidence to know that I am going to stand firm. Oh, even my head of programs, Madam Jacqueline Adebija, she is so firm in who she is and in what she knows and in what her opinions are that she doesn't care who it repels. Those things, I have those people around me. Even my flatmate Courage, she's like that too. Firm in who they are. They don't care if you like them or not. Is this the right thing to do? If it is, we are going to do it. If you don't like it, that is your business. I'm like, I want that. I know that this thing I'm saying is right. And if you don't agree with it, if you don't like it, I don't know what to do for you again. No? But I've just said, do you know this kind of things makes you lose your voice? Because you don't want to say things that people don't like. And what a boring life. What a life of disservice you are doing to yourself. A life of disservice you are leading. And I tied my identity to people, to what people said about me, about my podcast, about my work on radio. And I said, I don't want to live like that anymore. And I know you in your workplace, it will be the same thing. What is your identity? What did you tie your identity to? Who are you? Now, what do I want to identify as? What God says about me matters. But, if you are in a tricky place with God, knowing what God says about you, it would be tricky to want to identify as a whole lot of other things. I identify as a daughter to my parents. My mom, my dad loves me so much that even if I do a shitty job at work, or my podcast flops, or my content creating journey just goes into a sleep, I have people that love me at home. And guess what? I have within me the ability to create again. I have within me the ability to create something beautiful, to create something that people would listen to and just be happy and relate to. Even if ordinary disappears, I can still create another one. That's my identity. I have siblings that mean the world to me. I have friends. I have this work I do as a radio presenter, where I go on air and spew good and spew rubbish and laugh too, and just, share positive vibes, or most times negative vibes, or just, I won't call it negative vibes, but, reality. Reality could always be negative, because life is unfair. I just share me with people. I have this podcast where I just open my mic and just say things. I have a content creating journey. I'm a content creator where I just share things I've learned with people. I love God. I'm still learning what that love means, but I love Him regardless. And He has said amazingly great things about me, that I'm beautifully and wonderfully made, fearfully made too, that He loves me. And I'm basing my life based on that love. I identify as an avid reader. I read a lot. I identify as someone that is curious. I ask ridiculous questions. I identify as someone that is fun, someone that could be boring too, somebody that just wants to spend her time alone, but somebody that still wants people around. I identify as all those things, not only radio. Radio is not the only thing, or my podcast or my content creating journey is not the only thing that makes Chiwendo. There are a lot of things that makes Chiwendo. I could be annoying, could be the saddest person in the room. I hate parties, but still sometimes I love to just be wild and do crazy stuff. I am that too. I know that people that encounter me on some days have left indelible marks in their life. And on the days that I decide not to go to work, I am still fine. Because guess what? There are other things that shape me. And I'm going to feed those other things. So this week, I traveled to Abuja last week and came back to Kaduna this week. And I decided that I was not going to do my major shows, because I have a co-host. I'm not the only one hosting the shows. So I was like, you know what? This week, I'm not going to do these shows, like do my political shows, just go on air basically. I'm not going to do that. Before, not doing that would destroy me for that day, because I felt like, it's like a drug I needed. Like, if I don't do that, I didn't do anything meaningful that day, or my sense of self was not filled that day, or like I didn't water myself that day, which is sad. Because guess what? I could water myself in any other way. I don't need to go to work to feel like I matter in the world, to feel like I am valuable. Girl, you are valuable in every other thing you do. And it's like painful to me to want to like sleep on my bed instead of I'll not sleep on my bed or just do something else instead of being at work and going on air. But I was like, no, Chimando, we are going to rest. We are going to rest. We are going to do other things that makes us happy. And the next week, we'll continue from where we stopped. Guess what? These people are not going anywhere. And even if they go somewhere, new people will come and would cater to their radio needs. So I don't know. What do you identify as? And even if you have never felt this way before, I need you to think about it, because it's very important to think about it. What are you sacrificing on just so that people would like you? What is that thing? I'm not saying you should be an ass or a narcissistic person, that you're not empathetic, you don't consider other people. You should do that. But there are core values of you. There are very important things that you should not take away from your life just because you need people to like you. There are important things, non-negotiables, that you know that if you're not that person, you don't say that thing, you're not who you want to be, you know you're suffering, you know you're doing yourself a disservice. That is where the problem is. I want to be firm and also empathetic. I could do that. It happens, it works. So I'm sorry I was shouting. Am I sorry that I was shouting? It just, my heart was just bursting out with things to say. But I hope this made sense to you. I hope you understood it. I hope it came together to be something you could think about in your own life, So yeah. Yay! We recorded an episode. We did. Oh my gosh. What I'm doing right now is having a to-do list down for a week. I'll be like, you must do this today. And I'm so glad I've gotten to, always acing my goals and doing everything I need to do in a particular day. And it just helps me. Yes, this is another way to form an identity, and also, believing in the capabilities you have, right? So, acing my goals always helps me to continually shape a great identity for myself and know that I am worth it and I can do amazingly great things. So yeah, thank you so much for listening to my podcast. You really matter to me, and I'm grateful that you might actually be fitting into my identity. So thank you. Yeah, my identity as a podcaster. So thank you so much for listening. Until the next episode, from me to you, it is bye and have an amazing life. That's if I come back again, but until whenever. Yeah, I should be next week, but because I want to really record an episode next week. So I'm talking a lot. Bye bye. Love you.